It started with a text, an innocent-looking notification on my phone while I was driving home from work. I remember staring at the screen, frozen, the words blurring as my heart sank. I can't wait to see you tonight. Jay. I didn't know who Jay was. I thought I did. I thought I knew my wife, Claire, completely. 15 years of mornings, dinners, shared jokes, and whispered confessions suddenly felt like a lie. At first, I tried to convince myself it was nothing. Maybe a co-worker, a friend, someone she mentioned once in passing. But that night, when I came home, the house felt off. Her perfume, the faint smell of someone else's cologne lingered on the couch, the way her laughter seemed sharper, quicker, almost rehearsed. It all pressed against me like a cold weight. "Hey, honey," I said, trying to keep my voice even. "How was your day?" She smiled a little too brightly. "Oh, work, errands, boring stuff." Her eyes flickered for a second, and I saw it, hesitation, guilt, fear. But I ignored it. I wanted to be wrong. I wanted to believe that 15 years of shared life, of love and hardship, weren't teetering on the edge of collapse. The next weeks were a slow unraveling. I noticed the small things first. Late nights at the office, sudden interest in her phone's privacy, the way she laughed at messages I couldn't see. Each clue felt insignificant on its own, but together they painted a picture I wasn't ready to acknowledge. I remember sitting in our kitchen one night, staring at her as she cooked, my hands gripping the edge of the counter until my knuckles ached. "Claire, can I ask you something?" I said, my voice tight. She glanced at me, chopping vegetables with a calm I envied. "Sure. Is there someone else?" Her knife froze. The kitchen timer ticked loudly, a metronome for my heart breaking. "What? No. Don't be ridiculous," she said too quickly, too firmly. I wanted to believe her. God, I wanted to believe her. But the instinct, the gut-deep feeling of betrayal, didn't lie. I began to watch quietly, the way a man might observe a storm rolling in, hoping it would pass without notice, yet knowing it wouldn't. One evening, I came home early from a business trip, hoping to surprise her, to prove to myself that my fears were unfounded. The sight that greeted me shattered whatever illusions I had left. Claire wasn't alone. I saw her through the kitchen window, standing too close to a man whose arm rested casually around her waist, her laughter spilling into night like shards of glass. I couldn't breathe. My legs shook. I turned away, stepped back into my car, and drove. I didn't confront her. I couldn't. Not yet. Weeks later, when the confrontation finally came, it was brutal in its simplicity. I laid out everything. My suspicions, the texts, the small betrayal stacked like a mountain. She didn't cry. She didn't beg. She just nodded, eyes empty, and said, "I guess you always knew, didn't you?" I packed my bags that night. 15 years of marriage, 15 years of trust, gone in a single, suffocating moment. I left our home, the life we built, and walked away. 2 years passed. I kept my distance, building a new life piece by piece. Then one evening, I returned to my hometown for a work event, walking past the familiar streets with a strange mix of nostalgia and wariness. And that's when I saw her, Claire, walking hand in hand with someone new, her eyes bright, smiling at a man I didn't recognize. The difference was in her face this time. No guilt, no hesitation. Only the weight of someone who had lived with her choices and was finally moving on. A crowd of old neighbors whispered as I passed, glances darting between us. I met her eyes briefly, and I saw it all. Regret, but also relief, the clarity of a life rebuilt without me. I realized in that moment that the pain, the heartbreak, the betrayal, they were mine to carry, yes, but they'd also freed me. Freed me from someone who could no longer be trusted, who had chosen herself over the life we promised. I didn't approach her. I didn't need to. Walking away had been my act of courage, my reclaiming of self-worth. And as I disappeared into the night, leaving behind the echoes of what once was, I understood that some betrayals, though devastating, can also be the catalyst for a life lived authentically, even if it comes at the cost of everything you once held dear. 2 years later, everyone whispered about the man who walked away, the woman who lost the love of her life, and the quiet shock of a life torn apart, only to find its own unexpected closure.